Hello, welcome to Framework. I am Al Schwartz. Joining me, as always, is John Bernard.
Yo, it's me. Hi.
And, of course, our most frequent collaborators, Mr. June Kim.
I'm back.
And His Honor, Chris Prentice.
Hey, fellas. Good to be here. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, so we're going to continue up. We did a draft of the most egregious Oscar snubs, in our opinion, a while back. We did the sort of best actor, best supporting actor categories. Today, we're going to try and do best actress and best supporting actress. Now, this was quite a bit harder to narrow down, which I think is mainly a reflection of how historically there were not as many good parts written and produced for female stars. And as such, the Oscars actually have a much higher hit rate of highlighting like the best actress performances of a given year than they do actors, just because they're aiming at smaller targets. And that our rule here is that it's not just the snub does not count if somebody was nominated. It has to be somebody who wasn't even nominated.
That's right.
Good.
And and if you listen to the last one, leans genre for us, maybe. But I think that's to be expected because that is the Academy's blind spot as well. And I don't know about you guys, but my list here, it's got some good genre stuff in it. Some very genre-heavy female performances coming.
Don't pick mine.
Stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to get all yours. So we're going to have a real best actress, best supporting actress bro down here. Four guys with our thoughts on what the best actress performances are that weren't nominated. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
No costume
Just-
dramas here.
No, they all get nominated.
Oh my God!
Those are
Looking
the things
at like
Yeah,
past
exactly.
nominees, it is
By
just
default.
costume.
It's not our fault. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. They took them all.
Yeah, it's what we have to work with. And what the actresses have to work with too, I suppose. That's it. The thing that I think is most interesting about this is highlighting the Academy's blind spots. And I think last time we did a lot of sort of, tut-tutting at the Academy for neglecting more commercial stuff and more genre-oriented stuff.
Hey, you know what? I bet they wish they had given Val Kilmer an Oscar now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I bet
man,
they do.
Yeah. I got to be careful with my picks. I don't want to mark anybody for death with my picks here today. So I got to be very careful.
Too much Tombstone love.
Oh no!
Mm-hmm.
But it occurred to me, to give the Academy, I guess, some due or whatever. There's a question of like, well, why does the Academy have such a hard time just recognizing popular films or whatever as great acting or great screenwriting or whatever? And I suppose to make the case for them, that the argument would probably be that, well, the giant blockbusters don't need the highlighting of an award to go with them, like for the award to do more for the art form. An Oscar is most useful in bringing a movie to people's attention that otherwise would be overlooked. And there was no real danger of overlooking Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man, I suppose. So arguably the Oscars are right to ignore the big, heavy blockbuster stuff.
Until they got desperate and started making categories.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a balance to be hit there, though, because if it's all movies that made $12 million and were critics' choices that barely got released in theaters, then you're arguing for the irrelevance of the Oscars in a sense. Mm-hmm. I think you need to make room for the stuff that was a big crossover hit. The stuff that did have a cultural impact. And yes, maybe don't nominate Scarlett Johansson for her performance as Black Widow in one of the many Captain America films she's appeared in, but just because it was popular. But, when something hits, when something has cultural significance that does stand out, I think it is important to acknowledge it at the Oscars.
Well, I think the flip side is you don't have to nominate Scarlett for playing Black Widow, but you also don't have to nominate Scarlett just because she played Eleanor Roosevelt. Which is what they tend to default to. That's the real issue more than I guess ignoring blockbusters, whatever.
Did she play Eleanor Roosevelt, or is that just the example you made up?
I was
making them up.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, did she?
If she did, she'd be not. You would bet your house on her being nominated. Right?
Depends on how the movie does, I guess. But sometimes.
There was
Like,
an attempt
it
to
is-
make a Roosevelt movie that won the Oscars. No one liked it though.
The Hyde Park on Hudson.
That's
Hyde
right.
Park on
Yeah,
Hudson,
Bill Murray.
yeah.
It looked like a
And-
30 Rock parody of an Oscar.
and
thing.
Laura Linney, I think, right?
I think that she's playing Roosevelt's mistress. I believe. No one saw it. None of us saw that, right?
Yeah.
Nobody.
No, I don't
of
know.
course none of
anybody
us
who
saw it. I'd put even money on her being nominated, though.
I don't think Bill Murray saw it.
Okay, we should probably get going then. Here is our list of alternative Oscar picks, I suppose, for Best Actress or Best Supporting Actress, minimizing the amount of historical figures or inside Hollywood movies about movies bullshit that they tend to default to.
Right.
We're going to have June go first today.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. The format, quickly. We
Yeah.
are each picking 2 Best Actress nominees, 2 Supporting Actress nominees who were not nominated in their respective years. And we can't rename. So once June picks one, it's off the table.
All
And
right.
there's no specific order. You could do both your supporting actresses first or both actresses first or any combination of those. And it'll be a snake draft round the table like that.
All right. Sounds good. All right. My first pick is going to be the historical figure from 1992 film, Catherine Trammell, Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct.
Oh, that's a
Oh,
good
wow.
Ooh,
There it is.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I got to
that
go
is
with
good.
that one first.
That's
Ed,
Awesome.
so she lost too. She was not nominated. That's the thing that surprised me. I thought with the cultural impact
Mhm.
of the character, I thought for sure she would have been nominated, but nope. That was the year of Susan Sarandon for Lorenzo's Oil, Michelle Pfeiffer for Love Field, which I don't think I've ever heard of, Mary
Yeah.
McDonald for Passion Fish, Catherine Deneuve for is it Indochine or Indochina? Indochine. I'm never quite sure about that one.
Indochino is the suit.
That's what I
seller.
kept thinking too. And then the winner was Emma Thompson for Howard's End. And so from there, I believe Sharon Stone belongs in the 1993 Oscar for Best Actress.
But that list of nominees, it just sounds like AI generated sort of Oscar type actresses in movies that sound like they get nominated for Oscars.
Might as well be the best actress in a Merchant Ivory production. You might as well make like the same thing,
Yeah.
basically.
I mean, yeah, that's going to be 2/3 of it of every nomination every year. It's going to sound like that.
All right, but yeah, I think was it a year or two ago, the Seattle Film Festival, they had a erotic cinema, like a showcase. They had a series, so stuff like Bound, The Crying Game, and one of them was Basic Instinct, and I was like, oh, I got to go to that because I've never seen that in theaters, and I enjoyed the movie a lot. So I went to go see it. It was more, it was pretty full, surprisingly full for this series, and man, the way the audience reacts to every line that Sharon Stone delivers, she was essentially the hero of the piece as far as the audience was concerned, just howling at just everything because they were just loving the character, just digging into everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's how it was received in the moment, but that
Right.
It seems like the only way to watch it now. You're not watching it like really identifying with Michael Douglas. Are you?
Like, if it was the 90s, getting Michael Douglas, that animal fear of powerful women trope thing. Maybe it was scary then, but now it's just so much fun.
Yeah, that's I mean, that 2/3 of Michael Douglas's career has aged in a funny way.
It is a dominant performance that probably should have run the table that year when you list off those names. And I mean, look, those are some. I'm sure I haven't seen more than half of those performances, but the ones when it comes to cultural staying power, I don't think there's any question that Sharon Stone and Basic Instinct kind of blows them all away, right? I mean, collectively,
Right.
they can't compete with Catherine Trammell.
I mean, I gotta assume that it's just the Academy's prudishness that kind of locked her out, right?
Sure.
That's
Yeah,
gotta be
gotta
my
be.
assumption, right?
Another big issue at that time was, that movie got heavily protested at the Oscars.
Right.
Maybe not. I don't think it was the year that it would have been up for nominations, but like the year it came out, it was right around the time of those Oscars, and there was a pretty
That's right.
big backlash at that ceremony against Basic Instinct, and I think any hopes that it might have had for her to get a nomination the following year pretty much would have been sunk at that point. But I think she's absolutely deserving. She's just a hell of a lot of fun. It's a very unique performance. She's someone who had been around for a while, up until that point. But man, I mean, she just kind of became a superstar right after that movie.
It's rare to have a performance that is as star-making as just like, Bolt Out in the Blue. I don't know, you're talking like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman. It's that level of kind of just like, oh, holy shit, she's need to be in movies for the next 15 years at least. Maybe the rest of her life kind of thing. It's that landmark of a performance, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so precisely not a prestige picture, and also not a four quadrant like crowd pleaser. It's not, the romantic comedy probably not like super well represented at the Oscars in the acting categories, but more so than the erotic thriller for sure.
That's true. You can't name too many erotic thrillers that have been Oscar darlings.
Was Glenn Close nominated? I think she was
for
right?
Fatal Attraction.
Fatal
No,
Attraction.
I think she was, right?
Oh, it's the thing that she just was not kept getting nominated, never winning.
Well, that she is the most nominated actress or actor of any kind without a win. That is still the case. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
Glenn,
let's see.
just this close.
Was she nominated? I'm going to find that out because that would be.
You got to look 1988. Remember the old,
maybe
the
only
old,
one.
the old Oscar lookup baffling rules of you got to look up 1988.
Yeah.
100% she was nominated. Yep.
All right. So, but yeah, I feel like that's really the only one I can think of in terms of, something that could be categorized as erotic thriller resulting in a nomination for that actress.
Wow, 6 nominations for Fatal Attraction. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, and Archer.
No, she probably gets nominated because she gets killed in it, as opposed to Catherine Trammell, who ends up, essentially victorious. Right?
Not only victorious, but returns in a sequel.
Right.
Well,
I never saw that one. Did anyone see that one?
I saw
Risk
it,
Addiction. I didn't.
No. Yeah. Basic Instinct 2. I did see, and that was one done about 10 years too late.
Right.
As was the style at the time.
Yeah.
Sin City 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another good one. Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, yes.
Well, God, yeah, really worth it to redig that well. Let me tell you. All right, that's only one pick down. We got to move along here. Chris, you're going to go next.
All right, so I think I really only have one of, at least the way I'm planning it. So I only really have one that's like a full-on genre. The fact that I
get to it before I do.
Yeah, I just want to see stuff, blow up and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I really only have one that I think truly fits in there. So I'm going to use it here, and I'm going to go for a Best Supporting Actress for a 1991 performance, Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Nice.
Okay. I thought you go somewhere else.
She was on my list.
Yeah.
Not actress, huh?
No, I think it's supporting. It's because it's a while until she kind of shows up.
That's
and
true.
I think it's a supporting performance. I mean, you could go either way. I wouldn't argue if you say lead actress, but I think so much of that movie is just kind of Arnold and Edward Furlong that I think it's enough to where I would say she's just a supporting performance. But I really think she's kind of the heartbeat of the movie. The whole movie's great and everyone's great in it, but I think she's really the one that, with a performance, is really kind of blowing you away with what she's doing. And in terms of just a total change from the first film. It's like she's great in the first movie. It's just a completely different character. And so if I have to go with a total genre pick, that's the one I'm easily going to go with.
Yeah, the thing that held me back most on choosing her was just being unsure about which category to put it into. And
yeah.
Like, I see where you're coming from, Chris, that she's not in it for a while, but also she kind of like delivers the narration for the movie. She probably has the best character arc. The T-1000 or the T-800, whatever. It kind of has one too, but yeah, I don't know.
Sort of. Yeah, and now he knows why he cries. Yeah, I got it.
I just think that,
would you say John Connor's the lead?
Well,
John Connor's the protagonist, probably.
Yeah, probably.
But no, I would nominate him for supporting actor, except I wouldn't nominate him.
The movie at its core is, Arnold and Edward Furlong. I mean, that's kind of, to me, that's the main focus. And then you've got, obviously, Sarah is there for a good chunk of it, but I think it's just more of a supporting performance. I don't really consider her the lead. I think she's more of the lead in the first movie. The first movie is probably her as.
She's inarguably the lead there. Yeah.
But
That's interesting.
I would say it's a supporting performance. But I think if they were to push her as a lead, I don't think there would have been any kind of a problem. I mean, when it comes to people that were nominated that year that I would excise, to me the easy one is Juliette Lewis and Cape Fear. I don't really.
Oh, I like that performance.
I mean, she's fine, but as an Oscar nominated performance, I just don't really see it. It's not. I mean, I don't see it.
Yeah, it's a little highfalutin for that film maybe, and she has a great career that follows. I don't necessarily know that you need to single out Cape Fear. I mean, I would definitely choose Linda Hamilton over her if I were thinking in Best Supporting Actress terms. And I would say that, if you were getting into the horse race aspects of this, if you nominate Linda Hamilton in Best Supporting, it's almost like, oh yeah, definitely give it to her then. It's an easier sell. And if Haley Steinfeld in True Grit, as we were talking about, can be nominated for Best Supporting Actress, then I see no contradiction in putting Linda Hamilton there for sure.
Oh, but we were talking about that as the big, the clearest example of category fraud to ever be committed to this.
It is, yes, and it as such it lowers the bar for what counts.
For me, I feel like I'm so inclined to put her in lead performance because it's such a prominent performance. On top of the fact that there's no other lead female character in the movie to begin with, so there's not. For me, it's just kind of, unless you want to play that category fraud game, however it goes. I agree, there's some wiggle room on this one, but I think she shows up pretty early. She's Cameron sets the character up in the mental institution fairly early. I think it's just we're so used to it, right? It's just that we're not following her truly until we get to when she's finally broken out. But you see her with Silberman, how's the knee and all that stuff. She's sprinkled in there just so that you make sure that she's suffering while she's in there.
Just one other thing about that performance, more than any other I can think of, performances in a sequel, it is really deepened and bettered by the prior performance in the earlier movie, and it being so different.
Yeah,
I think that's fair game.
The other reason that I like her as supporting actress is that I found this way, way tougher to find supporting actress candidates. So that's the reason I'm going with her for supporting actress.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to start. I'm going to start off in the supporting category as well. And I thought you were about to take this from me, but sticking with old Jimmy Cameron, I'm going to take Jeanette Goldstein as Vasquez in Aliens.
Okay,
oh, fun!
All right,
that's fun. That's fun.
That's a good one.
Good. Love that.
I mean, it's honestly should go in the conversation for just most effective supporting performances in the history of film. It's just sort of instantly iconic. Not even a lot of times supporting means what, second or third build. No, this is a fifth banana, but she's so good and so appealing that she's one of the as memorable as the people who get twice as much screen time and twice as many lines.
It is a performance that has forever marked Jeanette Goldstein in my eyes, and whenever she pops up in stuff, which she's often in movies, especially from that era, you're just like, Vasquez, there she is. It's an iconic role. Yeah, I mean, Aliens is pretty good for that in general. It's kind of true of most of the cast members of Aliens. Bill Paxton, you could argue is as effective in a similar
also
support.
Fifth Banana, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's kind of a treasure trove for actors like that, or specifically the sort of muscular Cameron actors getting to really turn out and deliver some of their most memorable performances. Jeanette Goldstein being, I don't know, foremost among those, maybe. I don't know. You got Paxton and Hendrickson as well, but she's an icon, and she is now a type. That character is now, it's the Vasquez. Michelle Rodriguez has made a career of being the Vasquez in these films.
Literally an avatar in that role, even though, nowhere near as memorable. Because I forget that she's in that movie.
I'm pretty sure that they accidentally call her Vasquez twice in the final cut of Avatar. It's because they're like, everybody gets it, whatever.
I don't know what her character's name is, so Vasquez is fine.
Yeah. I mean, the question, of course, it begs is this a better performance than Diane Wiest in Hannah and Her Sisters?
I don't know. I really enjoyed Hannah and Her Sisters, but I can't remember it well enough to remember Diane Wiest.
You have them swap roles, and then you figure it out. That's the way.
Oh, there you go. Oh my God, Wiest as Vasquez.
I think she could do it.
I think she could pull it off.
Can do it. Yeah,
I
as well, not as well.
She could have done it in the stage adaptation. The musical version.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent pick. She's a underrated actress. Obviously, she's been in all kinds of genre films. She'll always be the woman who gets blown up in the swimming pool in Lethal Weapon 2 for me. But but that and Vasquez certainly are the two performances that I enjoy from her most. And so yeah, that's an excellent pick.
Nice.
All right, John, you're up twice now.
Oh, okay. I'm going to start with the best actress then. And, going to tease this last episode. We talked about this. Horror is a very, very fertile ground for lead female performances and that are not nominated or recognized. I'm sure there's plenty you could think of off the top of your head. Probably one obvious one that I'm not picking right now. I'm picking Lupita Nyong'o in Us.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
No, that was on my short list, actually. I
forgot about that one.
A wonderful performance, an amazing performance. A really good movie that is elevated greatly by this performance. I overlook a lot of the kind of dodgy thematic ideas in this film because the performances, particularly Nyong'o, are so incredibly on point. There's so much going on in her work in this film. It's two separate performances, of course, the nuances of which play out over the course of the movie. You don't fully recognize all the things she's doing until you have the full picture in head. And then when you see a second time, it reveals itself once again, just top to bottom. Incredible technical work, soulful, frightening, fun. This is as great a gift of a role as you can imagine being given to an actress, and man, does she nail it! This is the signature role of her career, and she's won Oscars for other things, right. But this is the thing that I always come back to and be like, oh yeah, she is an incredible talent. It's glorious work, just a great performance.
It also, I probably in the month between when we did these. Looked up 3 separate times to confirm she wasn't nominated because I couldn't believe it's because of that dual nature of the role. It's so like in your face how good it is. It seems so flashy that it would be impossible not to nominate it. But I guess
you want to know what was nominated? It's Charlize Theron in Bombshell, Saoirse Ronan in Little Women, Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story, Cynthia Erivo in Harriet, and the winner Renee Zellweger for Judy.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
That was Judy Garland.
Zellweger made no sense at all when she went up, and she was like, she literally was.
Yeah, that one.
She literally was Judy Garland when she got on stage. But, yeah.
Now,
was she on Judy Garland's medication regimen when she?
I think so. Yeah,
still in character?
She was way out of it.
And I was about to say, like, nobody saw that movie and went, wait a minute, I saw that movie in theaters. I saw Judy in theaters. I forget why. I think I just had some time.
No, but
not
it's
even
telling
Liza
there,
Minnelli saw that movie.
But this is like that's such a good illustration of like what I was sniping at the Oscars for here. It's like this Lupita's performance is so incredible and such a powerhouse and so flashy, and yet they have to make room for 3 famous women played real historical figures in sort of like quote unquote classy movies. So we have to make room for those nominations. We apparently only had room for 1 movie star playing like an original character in that category.
I would keep Scarlett and Saoirse Ronan. I think those are great performances. The other 3, I'm just like, whatever.
I saw Harriet
get
in
there
theaters
and out of there.
too. And
I like Theron, but Bombshell, get that out of there. Put Nyong'o in there, and I'd say give her the win. I think that's an easy choice for me. In fact,
yeah.
Me too. Actually, I appreciate that. Really helps me decide what to do with my second best actress pick because it was kind of
Similar
What's the
situation.
2 and 2?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
draft format, yes.
But you have another one here before it gets back to me.
Okay, absolutely. All right. Let me see. I'm going to shoot both my best actress. No, not yet. I'll hold on. I will do a supporting actress. And, okay. This is tough. You know, do I want to go classy or do I want to do the full on?
Full on.
Okay. Fine. Uh-huh.
Understand the assignment, man. Come on.
Full on.
Joan Cusack, Adam's Family Values.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Excellent.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite comic performances of all time.
Yeah.
I think it's just all-timer, excellent comic role in there. Kind of the best example of what Joan Cusack does really well, I think. You know, a signature role for her. It's, you know, that movie kind of, I think most people remember it for Christina Ricci, who's great. She's really excellent in it. They wrote to her strengths for sure. But I think Joan Cusack jumping into that ensemble and God, she's funny in it. She's so fucking good in it. Yep. It is her at her absolute best. And you know, obviously this is a sequel to a TV show adaptation, not the sort of thing that gets nominated, but I think those movies in general, the Addams Family 90s films, were kind of gifted with extraordinary performances across the board. You know, famously in some cases, Ricci and Raul Julia are sort of iconic in those roles. Christopher Lloyd, one of his better characters, but Cusack jumps right in. Yeah, and
I considered Angelica Houston for my best actress list. You know, I don't want to, if somebody else wants to take it, that's fine. But she is a few down my list, so probably not going to end up there. But yeah, they're way overacted, those movies.
I mean, in both senses of the word, and quite delightfully.
Well,
it's great stuff.
I always find it like, I don't know. You know, maybe I'm odd in this way, but whenever I would see like reruns of the show, I always thought it was kind of lame. I never really thought it just none of it really made me laugh. I always thought this is kind of dumb. I don't really get what's going on. I guess there just wasn't much on, so people just watched it. But I thought the movies were really damn funny, and they did such a good job of casting those movies. I mean, they nailed it with those characters to the point where they are way better than the characters that they are based on from the TV show. So, and yeah, Cusack to me, she's the reason why I think I would take the second movie slightly over the first one. I think she is such a good addition to that whole ensemble, and oh man, yeah, she's absolutely deserving of way more recognition for that part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually would say that, like, without question for me, those 90s films are far and away the best iteration of Addams Family in any case. Like, there's never been a better fit for that material than those two movies. Like the show, any of the weird, like, sort of shows or movies or cartoon things they've done afterward, none of it really lands anywhere close to what those do. You know, it lives in its sort of sitcom rut in every other version, except these elevated 90s comedies that are somehow excellent.
Well, now there's the Wednesday show on Netflix or whatever that people are gaga for.
It doesn't do it for me. It's fine. Yeah. It's fine.
I can't imagine the 60s show had Gomez and Morticia be as horny for each other as they are in the movies. Yeah. And I, like, without that element of it, I can't, like, what is here anymore? That's what makes it so charming, is that they're these weirdos, but also they have, like, the most wholesome, loving marriage ever. Like, sort of separate from their gothness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the elastic reality of those movies too. I really appreciate that. Like, you know, occasionally they just kill each other and it's fine. Show up in the next scene like nothing happened. That's fun. It's kind of brave in a way I don't think movies would do now. Like, I mean, you can see what they make of Addams Family now. You know, it's a little less. I mean, well, it's sillier if you've seen the Wednesday thing, but it's also takes itself more seriously at the same time. I don't know. Maybe it's a younger generation does appreciate that, but for me, it's all about this and Cusack coming into an established ensemble and raising everyone's game. excellent chemistry with Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
The funniest single performance of her career, I think. She was nominated for In and Out, which is a similar time, similar kind of character, similar movie. I think this is the much better version.
Yeah. It's just hard. It's hard for this movie to garner major nominations because of its nature.
But that is, that is what we're kind of talking about here. These are the sort of performances that deserve to be highlighted and aren't. And I think maybe people would respect the Oscars a little more if they loosened up with some of this shit and, nominated these things that obviously hit for everyone and worked. I don't even know how big a hit that movie was. I think it was actually a bit of a disappointment. But, time has borne out that it's
very funny. Yeah. That's excellent choice.
All right. Well, I'm going to go sort of a different route of a Best Actress pick that seems like it's right down the Academy's alley almost. Not right down in that it's not a historical figure, but they could easily have recognized Julie Delpy in Before Sunset, which is an incredible piece of acting. The only reason I hesitated at all to put it first on my list is because this is a year. Well, Hilary Swank won for $1 Million Baby, but and then there's Annette Bening for Being Julia, Catalina Sandino Moreno for Marina Full of Grace, Imelda Staunton for Vera Drake. Easily, I put Delpy over all of that. The last nomination went to Kate Winslet for Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Those are two of the best pieces of acting I've ever seen in these two romantic movies of that year. But I almost give Delpy the edge because it's the hardest kind of acting and that it's fully naturalistic. It's playing something that's so close to her own self and persona, but also has to deliver a pure performance. And it has this element of sort of like the real time, like almost 24-ness of it. So to give a full performance, I mean, those movies are incredible feats of narrative that feel so organic and like they're just unspooling naturally in front of your eyes. But,
is it your favorite one of the three?
Oh, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I think that it's her best performance of the three.
I mean, I'd agree.
Yeah.
Definitely my favorite one.
I mean,
I guess she gets that iconic ending is sort of pushes it ahead of the other two. Yeah.
I can see why Winslet gets the attention. It's such an attention-grabbing performance, as it were, doing similar things. I mean, the characters are different, but the movies themselves kind of similar concerns, I suppose. And she gets to, have multicolored hair and exist in fantasy worlds and things like that. That kind of draw the attention away from the more realist performance here in Delpy.
Yeah, I think that those elastic, fantastical conceits that Eternal Sunshine's working with actually provide some crutches to the performance that aren't there.
Yes,
Delpy, both in terms of time and the fantastical reality. You get to demonstrate such a bigger range there, and you have the excuse of, well, in this one, it's exaggerated because it's filtered through this other person's perspective, and this sort of naturalistic thing. And you have to kind of make the audience fall in love with this person who has to be at least 50% you. Like you don't have, these structural things or things to assist with the performance. It's just, it kind of has to be you, but also it's not you. It's a performance. I think that's the hardest thing to do, probably.
Yeah. I mean, it's a reason to applaud Kate Winslet as well. You get there's a lot of things that you have to have in mind there, and she's kind of nailing it. But that's not to say what Delpy's doing is any easier. It's harder in a way because it's less obvious. It's less drawing attention to itself in that technical way. It kind of just has to feel true, and it does. Which is the whole thing of those movies, is how honest they feel.
It's almost unfair that Swank won because she's comatose the whole third act. I mean, that's not really much of a
spoilers. Yeah.
I mean, that's not really. Come on.
What?
She's got a head. She's talking. She's
pretty much.
She put in the physical work in that performance. She did.
All right.
It's convincingly a boxer. I still probably would nominate. I don't know. That's tough, actually. I mean, I would keep Swank in the 5 for sure.
That was her second win, right?
Yeah. Second
Yeah.
win. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But just do we need? I mean, no
Spread
offense
it
to
around.
no offense to Annette Bening, but she's gotten enough awards recognition. Do we need Being Julia to be nominated?
Well, that was one of her famous snubs. I don't think she ever won either. I think she's like close in that way. I think she got beat out twice by Swank. Is that right?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I think
American
she
Beauty.
Because 1999
is
was
a
Boys
race
Don't
between-
Cry, American Beauty.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's like, damn it again.
That's great.
Yeah, terrific.
Why didn't we get a season of Feud about Annette Bening and Hillary Swank hating each other? All right, Chris,
Again, right? I mean, because, Annette Bening's kind of been in the mix a number of times since then for a number of films. Swank's been out of it. What if Annette Bening delivered a great performance, then out from the back?
She wins from the hunt. She wins for the hunt. It was COVID year. There's less movies. COVID year.
Oh, well, we can all hope. Okay.
all right, Chris, you
Okay.
got another one for us.
Yes. So I am going to use one of my best actress picks. And I guess this is kind of a genre film, if it's a crime genre, whatever. But I'm going to go for 1997, Pam Grier and Jackie Brown.
Oh,
Thank God! Oh, I got it in there.
No,
Okay.
yeah, no. This is high on my list, but I wasn't actually going to take it because my other best actress pick is very safe. But yeah, great. She's so good in that.
Oh yeah,
What is there to say?
Like she is just such the perfect person for that part. It's you're not too old, you're not too young. You're kind of looking at the backside of your life, and then looking at what's left of your life, and you're having to make these kind of decisions, and you're kind of caught up in this world with all these criminals all around you. You got the cops around you, the ATF, and I think she's just so good. And it's I don't know how it could not have happened. I mean, it just seemed like it was such a feel good. Oh, Pam Grier is back. Hey, this is fantastic. Oh, she's so wonderful, and we got to get her an Oscar nomination. It's a Tarantino movie, and the only person that did get a nomination was Robert Forster, and richly deserved. But yeah, I just think it's pretty outrageous that she did not get one.
I mean, yeah, they're both so excellent in that movie. I mean, yeah, it's a Tarantino movie, but at a time when the only Tarantino movie where that meant anything was Pulp Fiction. So it's not entirely clear if that's like automatically a thing. But
97 came out like the same weekend as Titanic. The cultural zeitgeist was not on Jackie Brown's side at the time of release. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of so appropriate for what that movie is. So
didn't do great.
But I'm surprised even like over Robert Forster there that for him nomination, like the Pam Grier narrative is so much better around that. It's a comeback. It's somebody that like hadn't been taken seriously by the industry, showing that she has actual dramatic chops. And it's a full blown lead role. It's the movie is named after. Real missed opportunity to recognize some greatness there.
How cool would it have been to have Oscar nominee Pam Grier? Like that, we should have that at this point. That would have been great. Would have been great for her. Maybe wouldn't have had to do Ghost of Mars if she got that nomination. Yeah.
Or Jawbreaker. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of looking over the people that did get nominated, and honestly, a few of these I never saw. There's Kate Winslet, she got nominated because she gets nominated for everything. Helen Hunt, she won for As Good as It Gets. Julie Christie for Afterglow. Judi Dench for Mrs. Brown. I mean, Though I guess the person who I would bounce is Helena Bonham Carter for Wings of the Dove. And I never saw the movie, but I do remember that Helena Bonham Carter was terrible in an episode of Miami Vice where she was like a 22-year-old doctor. So just because of that, I'm going to take her out of it. And that'll be Pam Grier's spot.
It's a costume epic. It's
Thank God Pam Grier was never bad in anything.
She was really good. She was great in a couple episodes of Vice. She was great as Tubbs' old girlfriend.
There you go.
Outstanding.
Yeah, see, if Chris ran Hollywood, Pam Grier would have an EGOT at this point.
Oh, twice over.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're all in agreement that's a great pick, though. So,
Thank
June, you had 2 now.
Oh, I'm at 2. Okay. I'm going to go supporting actress just to change it up. I have one. It's also from the Oscars of 1993. The same one that, Basic Instinct.
Okay.
But, okay. I'm going with Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns.
Oh, yeah, great. Excellent.
Oh, okay. I had that in lead.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's one where I would go like, I could see the wiggle room there. Like, I'm more, I don't know. For some reason, I just thought of her supporting. But, yeah.
She's the villain, I suppose, but
Sort of.
love
Because
interest.
it's a two-header villain, yeah. But,
No, so she's got
I think supporting is where they'd file that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
I think you can get away with filing whichever field is thinner.
Yeah, I don't really know why I kind of was inclined to go that direction, I guess. But no, lead makes sense too. And a lot of it is because it's even before she becomes Catwoman to begin with. That whole, her introduction of her, her shitty life as Selena Kyle. I've always had so much affection for that whole moment. Even as a kid, I was like, man, that lady's, I don't know, how old was I when in 1990? 2 or 3, I was like still in elementary school. I see this movie because I was crazy about the first one, and I was like, what a sad life. Right? And even in that big melodramatic, like a German expressionist world of Tim Burton, it still feels so true, even though she's going all out, right? But yeah, just so much affection for that. And then finally she becomes Catwoman, which is an icon in itself, but I'm really kind of giving it to her for that whole, like her eventual breakdown, that one bad day.
Well, she's doing broadly drawn Kathy cartoon stuff in the opening. It still works. It still like plays, and she looks like Michelle Pfeiffer, and you're still just like, yeah, I buy it.
Yeah. It feels appropriate for that milieu. It's the Kathy of a Tim Burton world.
Right. Yeah.
She is fantastic in it, and I love the pick. I mean, the movie itself, I've got issues with just because I don't like the look of Gotham compared to the first movie.
Oh.
It's different.
It
more
seems like
than before,
they took this
more
huge kind of epic looking city, and then in Returns it's like 2 blocks. I feel like Gotham is basically just two streets, and
they really reduced it to that one big set.
Yeah,
it really becomes like it's like the clock tower in Back to the Future or something. Like everything in Gotham is happening around this one small radius of
that exciting Batmobile chase where it's going like 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, but she is the best thing about it. I mean, she hands down. I mean, she steals the whole movie.
Yeah.
And any time that I do watch any parts of it, it always holds up. And she and I obviously she looks amazing in it, but just her performance in general is the best Catwoman by far, and I don't think it's even close.
No, this is a performance that, well, honestly, I have a hard time being objective about it because my whole sexual awakening is tied up in it. So,
same here. I've been really going with like sexy roles in this one.
But yeah, nominated for sure. Yes.
So she lost to which one? This is a tough one. She lost that year to Marissa Tomei and My Cousin Vinny, and I love.
I love that win.
That's a fun. It's a fun one.
Yeah, right. So there's also Judy Davis in Husbands and Wives, Joan Plowright for Enchanted April, Vanessa Redgrave for Howard's End, and Miranda Richardson for Damage. It's like replace them all, I say.
Yeah, I mean, at least 2 of those movies don't actually exist.
It'll take them out a whole new door.
Not to get too hung up on the category aspect of it, but I do think, you could probably make an argument for this as supporting, if you like an accurate one, breaking it down by screen time or structurally or whatever. She's one of 3 villains, essentially, blah, blah, blah. And I guess just in memory, her stuff is so much the best stuff of that movie that the performance looms even larger in my mind. So I naturally wanted to sort her into lead.
Yeah. But like,
that's a credit to the performance.
The scenes with her and Keaton are the best stuff in the movie.
I have to put her in supporting because I have Sharon Stone in Best Actress that year.
Oh yeah, you can't.
I gotta get a double win in here.
All right, what else you got for us, June?
Oh, that's right. Okay, so I'm going to go with lead actress. This one, I could go with one that I think you guys would go like, of course, with. And if somebody doesn't pick it later, I'll tell you later. But I'm going to go with full on genre in this one. I'm going to go silly. I want to give it to 2009 Isabel Fuhrman for Orphan.
Yeah!
Oh, wow.
I'm so glad you did this. I promised myself I wouldn't, so thank you.
This is a very much similar to not exactly similar, but the Basic Instinct thing where you're just like, I'm having just a ball watching her terrorize this poor family.
Okay.
I cannot sing that performance's praises enough. Oh my
the
god!
Oscar of 2010, she lost to Sandra Bullock for The Blind Side. All right. All right. Well, I mean, she lost. Helen Mirren for The Last Station, Carey Mulligan for Education, Gabrielle Sidibe for Precious, and Meryl Streep for Julie and Julia.
Well, that Blind Side movie was all full
Get
of
her in there.
That whole thing was a huge lie. That whole Oscar should be taken away.
It turns out Orphan is way more true.
Yeah, exactly. Not even close.
You pissed yourself.
Oh my god! Have you all seen Orphan? Al, have you seen Orphan?
Oh yeah.
I know you have, Chris.
No, because so Orphan is one. It's almost like Human Centipede for me. It's like once I heard the premise, I was like, oh, that's pretty good. But also, I feel like it's lost a lot of stuff. Like I needed to see this without knowing what I was in for.
That is true.
To get the full impact.
That's true.
There is the initial first viewing of Orphan is precious. I'm so much so that I'm loath to spoil it here in this context, in our niche podcast 15 years on. But
that I agree with you on that. But my question that begs for me, what you guys is the concept there, or the idea that it's so much fun doing all the work, or is it truly an incredible performance unto itself? It sounds like the consensus is yes, the performance.
No, I think she's fantastic.
Is something special.
She's
too.
wonderful.
Yeah.
She is absolutely, and it's such an ask of an actress who I believe would have been 11 or 12 at
11
the time.
or 12 at the time.
Yeah.
She's playing that age. Yeah.
And it's a performance that doesn't make sense until you've seen the whole film, and then you're just like, oh wow, that's really something. She's
really fun movie.
Exceptional. It is my favorite child performance in a film.
It's a great pairing with Lupita and Us, then too.
Yeah, kind of.
It doesn't. The performance doesn't reveal its depths until you get to the final reveal of the movie.
She's doing a Russian accent on top of it as well, and kind of nailing it. I mean, it's tough to talk about this without ruining Orphan for people, and it's a film you can actually ruin. But Al, even with that knowledge, I strongly
it's worth
recommend.
checking out. Okay.
It is a delight. Vera Farmiga is great in it as well.
Yeah, she's great too.
Yeah.
And
It's
it has
kind of
a
just
special appearance by
terrifically
Marco Martindale.
Yep.
There too.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Vera Farmiga, Margaret Martindale, same category for me. Just like never even close to bad. Always better than the role calls for.
I mean, I think Orphan, in many ways, is kind of just an always better than is called for movie. It is hitting above its weight in just about every cinematic metric, I think.
It's my favorite Jean Collet-Serra movie.
Yes. That's a guy, Jean Collet-Serra, who a French director. He's got a minor cult following at this point. He's a guy who I probably wouldn't give a damn about if he hadn't made Orphan, but he did. So now I'm kind of just like, I'm always giving him a chance. And
Several
he's done some good stuff.
And Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, come on, Run All Night is
he did-
outstanding, as I've said on here before.
He's made some good things.
Yeah.
Yes. But
Black
none as
Adam.
good as Orphan. Yeah, he did do Black Adam. He's got The Woman in the Yard. It just came out this week.
Oh, that's it. That's right.
That's
Yeah.
Jean Collet-Serra. I'm going to
Yeah,
probably go
he's a
see
busy
it
guy.
because he made it, because he made Orphan. Yeah.
Okay, so Chris, you got a lot to live up to now with your next
Yeah.
pick.
Oh, no, wait. Hold on. I'm not done. Al, you have to watch it and we have to do an episode. I don't know when,
yeah. Oh,
but sometime.
okay.
I want to do an Orphan reaction with you.
Wait,
at some point.
bring me on with that one.
Well,
Can we just wait for the Orphan remake to come out?
well,
Like,
there is a
No,
sequel.
no, that'd be
There is a
bad.
sequel.
it's almost time, right?
They've had
They
a
already
sequel
did
already.
They did a
There's
sequel.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
probably
Okay.
another sequel I think they're talking about. Yeah.
It's nuts, especially since she's nowhere.
It
close
doesn't
to
work anymore.
Oh man, there's got to be the Orphan franchise has got to play around with like the orphan age, the age of orphans, like
Orphan, No Way Home.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Oh,
All right. Fine. We'll
We're
figure
doing that.
out.
Put a feather in that. It's happening. Okay, but for now, thank you, June.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay, so
All right, Chris, you're up.
yeah. So now I'm kind of torn because I have a truly chalk pick that I think it was probably one of the more historic snubs, and then I've got one that you could probably have 1,000 people on here and they'll never say this person, and I think I'm gonna go with that person because it's from
Yes.
the world of comedy, which automatically doesn't get as much credit as it deserves when it comes to awards time, but from 1985, I am going to take Julie Haggerty from Lost in America for Best Actress.
Oh,
I think that is
cool.
one of the
Yeah, that's a good pick.
funniest performances I've ever seen. I love the whole movie. I mean, obviously, I think she's really funny. She's great in Airplane, but she is so hilarious in Lost in America. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's basically her and Albert Brooks as a married couple who decide to basically sell off everything they own, buy an RV, and just live traveling across the country. And of course, it doesn't go as well as they would want it to. And I just really love her in this movie, and the choice to essentially make her character a huge gambling addict is such an inspired pick, and leads to really a lot of the funniest scenes that I've ever seen in a movie. And so for that reason, and the fact that I don't think the movie or her performance gets enough love, I'm going to go with Julie Haggerty for Lost in America.
She's really good when the gambling demon has dug its claws into her.
Come on back
the
to
part
me,
of that movie I remember the
22.
clearest.
It's just so great. I love it.
Her vibe, her energy is difficult to define. Like,
Yes.
she was an actress in, late 70s and the 80s, I guess. Not too many huge roles. Definitely kept working and appearing in things.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of makes perfect sense that the person who would get the best articulation and use of her would be Albert Brooks.
Oh, yeah.
The sensibilities align really well. And he's got a good hand with casting his female leads, Albert Brooks, and that might be the most successful one. As I reflect back on them, I don't know. They're always good. He's always good chemistry, even when it's like Debbie Reynolds as his mom.
Yeah, she was great too.
He's got a good hand at, but yeah, that's like maybe the best coupling he's ever had on screen. Yeah,
now I'm almost regretting my first pick because I would also have been found it acceptable to pick Julie Haggerty for Airplane.
For sure. That absolutely would track. Yes.
I think it's safe to talk about this because I doubt it's on any of your guys' list. But I considered briefly maybe Julie Haggerty would be a better version of it, but I considered Priscilla Presley a Naked Gun as just like a way of highlighting what those movies or that type of acting is way more difficult than I think it looks, and so easy to undervalue. And I think those, especially Naked Gun movies, like there's so much the Leslie Nielsen show that overshadows how like she's actually really good and kind of doing kind of
she is
backwards and in heels version of the same thing.
That's a good point. Yeah, she really manages to make that a character that that persists over 3 movies effectively, and is really good in all of them and memorable. And that's an actress that there's no other roles that you associate with Priscilla Presley other than Elvis's wife kind of thing. Right. And I would definitely have seen that Kaylee Spaney biopic if it included the Naked Gun years.
Okay, you know what? So I guess that's my pick. I'm going to category fraud her into supporting.
There you go.
Sure.
Why not?
Why not?
What the hell?
I mean, my other pick is something the thing I was actually going to do is something we've discussed before at least twice, so I probably don't need to do it again. But yeah, she doesn't get as many of the good jokes as Nielsen does. Nobody does, obviously, in those movies. But she gets a lot of laughs out. It's like it's a role almost designed to fail, and somehow she becomes, like I said, you almost like care about the character a little bit over 3 movies.
Oh yeah,
you almost invest in their relationship somewhat.
I mean, she plays the emotions pretty, like melodramatically, but it feels true.
She's
Like,
the only person who's
especially in
had
the context
good
of
romantic chemistry with Leslie Nielsen that I can think of.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody else.
I don't know. It's akin to maybe what like Elizabeth Hurley is doing in the first Austin Powers, which is another thing I think
nice.
that's underrated.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
like you look at, the sequels, you've got higher profile, more seasoned actresses doing those roles to much less effect than what Hurley's
Yeah.
doing. Because,
Definitely.
partially because that's the only one that really allows that character to be a real character.
Yeah, the sequels, that character is more of a concept. It's
Heather
Yes.
Graham
Mhm.
and Beyonce.
Beyonce, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they both they want they probably tell themselves this character is going to be like a comedic force in their own right, and less of just a straight man.
Mhm.
But actually, straight man's really important.
Yeah.
That's why the
to
first
comedy,
Austin Powers is the
to
best
even
one.
broader
maybe.
comedy. Yes.
Yeah.
The only one I like.
Well, yeah, like it's the only one that's a real movie, and a lot of that is because of Elizabeth Berkley, who is not this person we're talking about right now. We're talking about
Hurley.
No, Elizabeth Hurley. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn it.
Elizabeth Berkley's moral support was really important.
There you go.
to the learning process.
Well, somebody could have nominated her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
she could still be on the board here. Yeah, that's true. That again, it's a type of role that is really important for that type of movie to work. And I think Priscilla Presley is actually really great as Jane. In
She has some of the funniest
good
parts.
playing off Ricardo Montalban.
She has some of the funniest bits in the third movie, if I recall.
Slimmer Pickens, but
yeah, Slimmer Pickings for sure. But she is sort of a plus up for every single entry in that franchise, and that's tough. That's I know, to be an important part of such a stupid thing.
Yeah. But I think but highlighting the Austin Powers series, it does, I think, highlight the the success of that role, because it would have been so easy to recast that role, just to throw another pretty face into the role of a new love interest each time, and the character is a little too successful for that, and so that relationship does span the length of those movies, and I don't know, maybe grounds that makes the Naked Gun movies a little more successful than the Scary Movie series or whatever, because there's
there's a continuity to Frank Drebin's home life.
Yeah, exactly.
She truly sells that she would walk out of Platoon giddy with laughter.
Yeah.
That's a great bit. I'm probably going to rewatch all those this year. I think it's time with the new one coming out. I'm primed and ready. It's been too long.
You gotta give a special shout out to her ragdoll double though. For the first one. Ragdoll stuff always makes me
Will
laugh.
Pamela Anderson live up to Priscilla Presley?
Oh, that's right.
Probably not.
No, she won't. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Call it right now.
I don't know. I will see about those movies. I'm
feel like
definitely in, but
I feel like she could do it. It just really depends on the movie itself. I think.
Yeah.
How the jokes work.
Yeah,
Paul
most
Walter
of these
Hauser
movies-
as George Kennedy's son. I'm pretty down with that. I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm
definitely
very much
like
on the
that.
Paul Walter Hauser train, by the way.
Totally.
Well, but it's also, it's more likely than not. I don't know. I guess maybe the Lonely Island people wrote the new Naked Guns, right? So
Yeah.
maybe they have a stronger take on it than some of the other, even like Zaz stuff or the Scary Movies.
How long has it been since a good one? Like a good spoof movie?
I think
It's been a while.
Walk Hard's probably the last one I can think of.
Okay.
That's a good one, yeah.
Even Walk Hard, though, is kind of lacking in a female lead that is like the only
Wig's great in it,
spoof movies.
but yeah.
Oh yeah, Wig's great, but that's a supporting performance. So you got to pick that. Yeah, nothing against Jenna Fisher, but the only movies I can think of that have like a strong female lead performance in one of those is Airplane and Naked Gun. Like I don't think the woman in Top Secret. I can't remember her name even.
No,
I don't think she gets off as many good ones.
Or Hot Shots.
Yeah, Valeria Golino.
Valeria Golino's okay.
I do like. Yeah.
Valeria Golino.
Yeah, she's all right.
Oh, big crush. Childhood crush.
do. Yeah, I kind of like her. I don't, but I don't know
Zaz-
that she's doing as good of acting as Priscilla Presley is. If that distinction makes any difference.
Top there.
Well, she is. She has the same sort of plot function of being into in a contiguous relationship with Topper. This is something Zaz knew how to do, perhaps. That is, I mean, there is some internal reality to those films that I think gets them over a lot better than the shit versions that came out in the aughts, for example.
Really?
You know,
I mean,
Yeah.
we don't even consider those. We don't even entertain the notion of even watching some of those. Did you guys
No, of
watch
course
those?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I see some scary movies.
Oh, yeah,
Anna
Scary
Faris
Movie
is
1 and
good
2.
in them,
Yeah,
but
she is.
she's always pretty good. But
I'm thinking
even
more
still,
about,
the movies
like,
are much
the-
worse. Yeah,
Like
much
the
worse.
epic movie.
Epic, Meet the
Exactly.
Spartans.
What were the other
and
ones?
all
Like
that.
it was
Yeah,
like the Meet the
Spartans,
Spartans,
right.
like really
Disaster
those ones.
movie. Date movie. Yeah, there are a lot.
Yeah,
there
I
have been
think so.
many bad ones. Many bad ones.
Big Red
that are
Font
not
movie.
worthy of Oscars. I'm gonna
Well,
go
we
ahead
also
and say.
we also got David Zucker's An American Carol.
I've seen that, man.
Also
you
not
saw
worthy of
that?
Oscars, but
Wow.
I watched that one. Yeah, it's a weird one, man. It's quite a film.
Yeah,
I mean,
know.
it's the only one that has Michael Moore and John Voight as George Washington weeping at the destruction of 9/11.
Well, it's
In a
At the base
spook?
of the towers, and
well, it's
yeah. Thanks a lot,
Isn't it,
American
it's Chris Farley's brother is like Michael Moore.
That's right. Chris
Kevin
Farley's
Farley.
brother as Michael Moore. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
all right, John, get us out of this. I'm too depressed.
Okay. You're right. This is terrible.
I was having fun with a naked gun, and now I'm like genuinely bummed out. Chris Farley's brother doing like, all right.
Mm-hmm. I'm struggling
John.
here because I have too many choices. How about that?
Oh, no.
I'm not sure where I want to land. Do I want to be classy? Do I want to be,
I think we firmly decided between Naked Gun and Orphan, we decided no, we're not going that route.
No, I need to bring it back. I'm gonna
Classy.
I'm gonna do a classy pick, and you're all gonna like it. How about that? Catherine Hunter in The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Okay, no, yeah, I had that on my longer list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a great performance.
Wait,
I think it's a lot of
The
The
Witches?
Witches. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
nice. Yeah.
It's some of my favorite witches in any movies. Really, it is really fantastic. I think a pretty fun movie in general, but that's definitely the highlight. Definitely the coolest part, the most interesting part, and just going for it with crazy Shakespeare witches. Can't go wrong. This is it's a really good role, such as it is, and man, they get great use out of a great actress. This is probably my favorite of the current run of Catherine Hunter showing up and cleaning house in supporting role.
The Catherine Hunter assance has been really something to see these last couple of years. And you're right, definitely like the most interesting part of that adaptation. It's always questions like what new can you bring to Shakespeare, and that's like it's more interesting than making Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, sextagenarians.
Well, that's an accent, but.
Yeah. But also, don't think I don't see what you've done here. Between this and us, you've managed to sneak in 5 performances and 2 picks.
Yeah. Well, that's what's cool about it. I mean, the something that should not work is that she's playing 3 characters and 1 character, essentially. It's 3 characters on stage, and it's just 1 actress, and yet she's still somehow represented as 3 different characters. But not really. It's a hard thing to explain, but man, does it work on screen. And, Shakespeare is, pretty good writer. I'm going to go ahead and say, fertile ground for an actress to do something with. And
Nominate him for an Oscar.
Fucking witches, man. I mean, how cool does that get? One of the best writers in the history of the world taking on weird, creepy, medieval, supernatural lore. And she finds all of that, everything creepy and good and old world about it. It is the eternal kind of conundrum of Macbeth. Is if the witches hadn't been part of it, would none of this have happened? Kind of. So what does that have to say about fate? It's the whole movie in a nutshell is her big scenes essentially. And I don't know. You can say it's my favorite version of the Macbeth witches. I think of the things in that movie. That is the only thing I would say is the definitive version of something. The witches, the best witches I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Mm-hmm.
It's also, such a stride for representation because it's rare that you can see an actress pass the Bechdel test twice just with herself.
Yeah, they're not talking about men at all. They're talking about like worms and storms and
and the hurly burly. Yeah, it's like an infielder turning a triple play without like involving anybody else in the.
Mm-hmm.
assistant. All right. So
It's still me.
good. That's a good one. Yeah, still you. That's right.
All right. That meant I couldn't pick Parker Posey. Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
For what movie? I'm curious.
Guffman.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I have a best actress pick left, and that's what it will be. You know, here I am. I'm trying to pick stuff that we haven't actually discussed before, you know, on this show, and there's a lot of things that would work there. And yeah, I mean, I already picked my horror movie, so I won't. I'll let all this faffing around out. Sorry. Okay, fine. Fuck it. Another Tarantino, Uma Thurman, and
there you go.
in Kill Bill Volume 1. How about that?
I thought about that.
Mm-hmm. In the
Nice.
first one.
That is kind of an interesting distinction then, because 2 is the more actorly performance.
I agree.
It's more dialogue heavy film.
Yep. I give it to 1.
I was actually, as someone who loved 2 more back in the day, I was thinking about leaning towards 1 too for some reason. I guess we'll go into why, right?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, from way back, you know, we did Kill Bill 1 and 2, like our 4th and 5th episodes or whatever.
Right.
And you came on and professed that part 1 was way better than part 2, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
Me?
I do. I like 1 more. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's more
But
entertaining.
I think June agreed with you.
Did I? I thought I was always more of a 2 person, but I would agree that, you know, I think 1 is the one I would like lean towards for Thurman.
And I don't mean to say that 2's bad. 2's really good. She's great in it and has a lot more material that is, I think, more classically, you know, crafted actorly scenes, you might say, opportunities to act, high emotions to play. That's all present in 2. I think he overwrote The Bride a lot in part 2. I think there's a lot of I think of the movies that he's made. Usually, I enjoy his discursive dialogue. I think 2 is too much. And she's required to say some dumb shit occasionally, you know, really oddly structured things, you know, until that strip turned blue. All that it's very mad.
Yeah.
You know, 1 is no fat. Relatively.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There's probably a lot of fat in Kill Bill 1 and 2, but whatever. No, it doesn't feel that way to me. It's all to a purpose. It's all extraordinary. It's all good relationship stuff. And man, does she cut a figure as an action icon. Like, she's unbelievably good, unbelievably effective. It's some of, I mean, the House of Blue Leaves. It's just one of the best action scenes of all time. She's right at the center of it, dressed like Bruce Lee. That's a lot to put on somebody, and
But
it is a
not exactly
success.
an actor's showcase, though.
I don't think that. I disagree. I think that that sort of thing is important, and you know, I think she supplies more of a center and spine to this character, who is, you know, sort of a revenge-seeking archetype in many ways than you would see in other films relative to it. It's also a performance I don't think that, you know, that she's ever really had the opportunity to match. You know,
No.
I'm kind of surprised she didn't become, you know, she didn't start being in action movies after Kill Bill, because she does it as good as just about anyone in those movies.
Considering
She's
what happened with her
extraordinary.
I
think she was almost killed.
I think she was probably not a fan of the risk, maybe.
I guess that's what it was. Yeah.
What was the one she
was
did
actually-
right after, where she's like the superhero girlfriend or whatever?
My
Crazy
Ivan
Greg's
Reitman.
girlfriend. That
Ex-girlfriend?
doesn't count. Yeah.
No, I'm saying, like I
no.
said, that put an end to all the whatever hope she had of being put into more actiony type roles. That was kind of the
Shortly after Kill Bill, she was in John Woo's Paycheck, but I actually find her to be not good in that.
No one's good in
But-
Paycheck. Yeah.
Except Confior. Sorry.
Probably. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Somebody else who's always better than the roll calls for. Really.
I was eating pie. That's what was one of his lines.
If you were to take Uma and place her in you know, any of the action films that came out in the last 10 years after Kill Bill, I think she would do a great job. I think she would avail herself fantastically. I think she would have nailed Furiosa if called upon to do so.
Could she have saved Ultraviolet?
No, but that's it would have been better, probably.
No, Ultraviolet is dependent on Paul W.S. Anderson or whoever writing for his muse. You know, like,
Wait,
he would not be as inspired.
Wasn't that one Kurt Wimmer?
Yeah,
That's
right.
Wimmer.
Sorry, I messed up.
The great
Who's
Wimmer.
married to Mia?
I often get him and Wim Wenders confused sometimes, and it's very fun.
There's only one thing I would say not against. This isn't against, because I'm all for her being nominated. When it comes to the physicality of it, I can always tell when they cut to Zoe Bell or one of her stunt people.
That's probably true.
Uma Thurman has, as all the work she did to it, she has a very loosey-goosey gangly quality, and the moment it cuts to Zoe Bell or somebody else, it becomes super precise. That's the only thing.
You're right.
Which I think would be kind of like, maybe that's why she doesn't do as much action. Like, this was like a big Tarantino project that, she was willing to put her, like physicality on the line for. But after that, I don't think she's ever really done, that many action has not really been her genre, other than Paycheck, maybe.
But that's what I do take your point about physical acting being underrated, and just like the figure you cut and all of that is an important aspect of all that. In the House of Blue Leaves, I think a lot of that, like June says, is Zoe Bell as much as it is.
You're right. I'm giving her credit for Zoe Bell's performance. I don't know. They let Natalie Portman get away with not dancing in black suit. So.
Uma Thurman does do a lot of it. I mean, there's plenty of it that Uma Thurman is doing, because I can tell when her motion is like, oh, there she is, right?
Well, you can tell because like her physicality is so unique. She's got the arms of the guy falling out of the skyscraper in RoboCop. It's like very long arms, very long fingers, even long toes. Honestly, we get a good look at. Yes, we do. The only thing I'd say, the reason why I would argue for part 2 over part 1, I think ultimately is not so much just that it's talkier, but part 2 is where she has to sell the like genuine romance with Bill, which I think is the hardest acting lift of the whole endeavor.
That's a fair point.
She does that really well.
It must be like a combination of the two. I mean, it's a consistent character shot at roughly the same time and place. So, I mean, it's all part of one performance, you might say. Maybe I just like part one more personally, and that's why. But that's a good enough reason as any. It's an immediate announcement of a performance.
There's a mode she enters when she's like talking to Bill, when she's like, quote unquote younger, or the face she puts on when she talks to Hattori Hanzo, when she's more like a giggly schoolgirl, that she can transition back and forth into those things. I think she's really great at those.
Yeah, she does kind of age herself up and down in the. It's like almost without like special effects or makeup.
Like a ponytail when she's like supposed to be younger, wearing that Okinawa T-shirt and all that stuff.
Yeah, but she just does a lot of that through performance too, and that's impressive.
I mean, for an actress that I think has been present but hasn't had the best, most exceptional career, I would say this is the thing that makes her sort of immortal. These two movies. Yeah. I mean, she's pretty great in Pulp Fiction, but these are like I'm kind of always going to remember The Bride. They're some of my favorites, and it's Tarantino films, and they are great action movies, and they achieve these things in a lot of the ways that I want them to be, and I'm going to keep watching them forever because of that. And she's her success in this role, big part why. And the thing she was that were nominated against this year, actually a really solid year, but I'd still probably take her over. Let's see, Charlize Theron won for Monster. That's a pretty good performance. But come on, Keisha Castle Hughes, Whale Rider, Diane Keaton, Something's Gotta Give, Samantha Morton, In America, and Naomi Watts, 21 Grams. You got room for Uma Thurman in that list.
I'd 86 Diane Keaton with her gloves.
Yes. I think that's a good one to get rid of.
Wait, what was the movie for Diane Keaton?
Something's Gotta Give.
Yeah, it's with Nicholson and Keanu Reeves.
Right,
and,
Keanu.
Whatever.
It's a rich people killing time movie, essentially.
Nora Ephron movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that Nora Ephron?
I think so.
Probably.
Nancy Myers, I think.
Oh, Nancy Myers. You know what? I think you're right.
One or the other.
Yeah.
Well, Nancy Myers is for a demographic that's 10 or 15 years older.
For best supporting actress, bro down. It's Uma Thurman and Kill Bill.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, I don't know that I'm going to help our feminist bona fides here, but because you want to talk about lead actresses in a broy movie, my pick for best actress is Cameron Diaz for There's Something About Mary.
Nice.
And
okay. This. I heard you on this.
Yes. You've heard me do my spiel on this, but it just kind of struck me recently as I saw some of that movie that this is a role that asks the absolute impossible of an actress, and it should take down the whole movie. because this is an impossible ask. That she has to be this, perfect dream girl, one size fits all dream girl that everybody in the audience and in the movie itself falls in love with like immediately. And that's pretty hard. But also just the nature of this world is such that it's just such this goofy cartoon world, and the plot requires that she is being stalked and scammed by a bunch of guys who have to be like bumbling idiots, like big broad idiots. So she has to be like the mark in a bunch of really clumsy, stupid scams. And yet, if we lose respect for her, weirdly, she has to be the only person in this movie we respect. So if she ever comes off as stupid, then this whole movie falls apart, in my opinion. And somehow she managed to do that, be the only like good moral person in this movie, the one of the more intelligent people in this movie, even though she's constantly being duped by idiots. That's all essential to keep this movie together. And I just think that's a nearly impossible lift that she makes look really effortless and like naturalistic is a weird word to apply to something about Mary, but so much that this is why comedy has such a hard time getting recognized by awards, even awards by other actors, is that when comedy is done well, they make it look easy. And that's why like the bias, I guess, in acting awards, as much as it's towards particular genres or, the inside Hollywood or historical stuff, really it's the huge bias in acting awards, I think, is towards roles that are tortured.
Yeah.
And if somebody's doing something other than tortured, they don't get recognized.
It got Leo his Oscar.
That's right.
That's true.
Literally tortured.
Yeah, he had to be physically tortured. He had to be mauled by
a bear. Yeah.
We want to see the work, damn it. I guess.
We want to see the bear assault. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's the straight man in this movie, not showing you the work really, the way that some of even like the bigger cartoonier performances are. But I think had the hardest job of anybody, and is the most responsible for making that movie work to the extent that it does.
I think she gets at it by being, to get past the stupidity of the Matt Dillon character. I think she has to really emphasize that she has a really good heart, and that is the sort of thing that is rarely respected. That you can for an actor to play, and she's done this before. Like, what's the another valid choice for her for a nomination would be My Best Friend's Wedding. Yes, where that movie kind of it seemed structured for her to be the antagonist, but it's not. She actually is
wonderful,
lovable, delightful, and just good at her core. It's odd because this is not usually what I think of Cameron Diaz as bringing. I think this is kind of one of her early sells. It's sort of like that she would be the most relatable and lovable in sort of a rom-com way usually, but sort of morally too, which is usually not called upon in those. And she's excellent at it. And she's moved away from it. I maybe got bored of it. I don't know. But in her later career, she's doing stuff like, I don't know. The notable performances are like Counselor.
Oh, I love her as a counselor. She's great.
She's great. But she's not good-hearted in it. That's for sure.
No, that's what's so great about it.
Is she a bad?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or she does like Miss Hannigan in the Annie movie. She's playing against type in a lot of things. And she was great in her type. She's so good at it.
Yeah, like nobody's as good as her.
And even that type was a little bit of a pivot, right? Because she was introduced with The Mask, where she was just kind of a bombshell.
No, she's doing it in The Mask too.
Is she pretty pure in The Mask too?
Yeah, you're surprised at how nice that character ends up being.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
And like there's like a fake out nice girl in there too.
That's
Amy
right.
Yazbek.
Amy, that's right.
Uh-huh.
That's right. I forgot about that. It's been a while. And then I'd say like maybe the transition point is after she does Being John Malkovich, where she's a very pure, nice person that
that isn't.
She got shit on so much. She does have to like go. It's like okay, fuck John Cusack.
Yeah, she takes a turn there. Nobody's that pure in Kaufman movies, but I think. But the thing about her having a good heart is really important. Like you said, for that Matt Dillon character, which one of the best, funniest performances in history.
That could have been mentioned in our last.
So what? It definitely was. I went on and on about it. It's a prize jewel of a comedic performance. But she has to be good-hearted, but also not just like a killjoy, right? Or like a scold. Right. Like that's the other. Your takeaway from there is not like, oh, she seems like so sweet and lovely. It's not Amy Adams' performance. It's that she's like, oh, she feels like she can play with the boys, and she doesn't feel like she's wagging her finger.
That's part of the
at
dreamy
any
girl
of
thing
the
too.
raunchy shenanigans. Yeah, that's there's a lot of balls for her to be keeping in the air there.
So to speak.
And in this regard, that would be like the power of a movie star, right?
Yeah,
like that was her like superpower in terms of being a movie star, and she leaned away from it, and I think she's
she's fine. I think she moved out of it,
retired rich, and comes back for a Netflix movie with Jamie Foxx here and there.
What a life!
Yeah, she organically grew out of it, which is fine. She's still rich, but I don't think anybody gives enough credit to how difficult that performance was. So that's my pick.
I mean, you could argue that the rather than an Oscar, the award was, to be one of the biggest stars of the 90s for decades after. But I mean, that's true of a lot of these folks, I guess. But yeah, I mean, the marketplace responded to that performance clearly.
Yeah, but
the way the Academy didn't. Yeah,
and Ben Stiller got to be the star of a whole series of Ben Stiller centric comedies coming out of that. Not Cameron Diaz didn't get that.
Sure, she did.
She was in a lot of. She had like Sweetest Thing.
Those were not marketed as Cameron Diaz movies.
Some were.
Sweetest Thing was
In Her Shoes.
In Her Shoes.
In Her Shoes.
Yeah, what that sex tape? She had
several
about
years
that.
Yeah, but there was like.
I'm drawing a blank now. No, there were some. I know there were some.
Like Bad Teacher.
The Sweetest Thing. The Sweetest Thing.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you the Sweetest
She
Thing.
had the Charlie's Angels.
Charlie's Angels.
And then that was very much into the movie star, like bubbly girl persona.
Yeah.
Spider-Man underoos dancing and all that stuff.
Yes, but that's a three-hander at the least. And I said, Ben Stiller became a brand unto himself. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Ben Stiller because I think, he had the Ben Stiller show. He has not just a comedic actor, he has a comedic sensibility, and that makes sense why he can become that.
Yeah.
But she gave the better performance and still had to share billing after coming out of that. Is my, I guess, great.
What we're really pointing out is the lack of justice in the movie industry. So what we're talking about here.
That's what, yeah, it's not a pure meritocracy. So anyway, it's
all right. Enough Cameron Diaz. Chris, what do you got your last choice? Yeah,
my last choice is another supporting actress. And we're going to go to the year of 1998. And I'm going to go ahead and take Bridget Fonda for A Simple Plan.
Nice.
I think that, it's a movie that is overall is very much slept on. And I think her performance is kind of slept on. And I think, the character that you see in maybe the first half hour of that movie is not really what you expect towards the end of that movie in terms of her character. And she's always kind of a favorite of mine from kind of that era. I think she was one of those actresses that kind of had a 10-year run and then that was it and kind of vanished. And I always liked her. And in terms of just pure acting chops, I think that was her best performance. So I'm going to go ahead with give it to Bridget Fonda.
Damn good one.
Interesting. I would have a quibble with this.
Okay,
it's sort of the Kim Basinger in LA Confidential thing. That's an excellent performance that Kim Basinger is giving. It's like my fifth favorite performance in LA Confidential, though.
I understand what you're saying.
She's the only woman is the thing.
Well. But I mean,
Paxton is great in Simple Plan. Billy Bob Thornton is on another level of existence. Awesome. Great in that movie. Like that's the performance that I have to focus on if I'm thinking about a Simple Plan.
It did get nominated.
He did get nominated.
He did. Yes, appropriately,
but not.
Even the third guy, character actor Brent Briscoe.
He's great. He's awesome.
Really excellent in that movie.
Too.
Yeah,
fantastic.
And it just kind of leaves her, it's kind of, she's the one who has to be like, well, Bill Paxton, I'm your sounding board. She doesn't get into the meat of the caper with the rest of them. She has some incredible scenes, some wonderful moments. She's great in the movie. It's just sort of one of those things where I'm just like, but if we're singling that performance out, I feel like that's more of a point at sort of a
it's like I don't
broken.
I don't mean to undercut the other performances. I think they're all
I know.
really good. I just think that it's the kind of performance that you probably wouldn't like associate with her overall, even though she kind of played a somewhat similar character in Jackie Brown, somewhat just sort of the Midwest version as opposed to the
She's
West Coast
really good in
surfer
that.
version. Yeah, she's great in that too.
Yes.
But I don't know. I think it's just a movie that has a lot of great performances, and really the only one that did get really recognized at all was Billy Bob. But I think everybody's outstanding in that one, and so yeah, I just think that was kind of towards the end of her run as a major actress, and she kind of went away after that. So I'm just throwing out some love to Bridget Fonda on this spring day.
I'm for it.
I can't
not
support
against
this
her.
because this would be the same Oscars as There's Something About Mary, and I've already claimed this one.
Well, I'm looking. Well,
it's supporting actress.
Well,
right?
this is supporting actress. See, I'm kind of looking.
Oh, this is supporting. Okay.
Yeah, this is the year that Judi Dench won, and for Shakespeare in Love, she's only in it for like 6 minutes or something. And that's all.
Yeah, but
that whole role.
But it's Judi
It's
Dench
Judi Dench
playing the Queen Elizabeth in a movie with Shakespeare in the title.
Yeah, but the whole
Oscar
thing,
bait as you get.
The Oscar bylaws are clear.
The whole fronted by a damn dirty rapist. So I'm sorry. I mean, the whole thing was a Harvey Weinstein, and everything was all null and void. All of those Shakespeare in Love Oscars. So long. Goodbye, Judi Dench. I'm not going to bounce Kathy Bates because she's actually great in Primary Colors, so she can stay for sure.
She's awesome.
Yeah, I love
damn.
her.
Oh, no, she got nominated. Never mind.
Yeah, she's nominated. I mean,
I forgot. Oh, never mind.
I didn't see Gods
I remember
and
being
Monsters,
like, that should've won.
but I'm going to go ahead and assume Lynn Redgrave was great, because when is Lynn Redgrave not great?
It's a terrific movie. I don't remember her in it, to be honest.
I'm about to go based on the Harvey Weinstein comment. I got to check who produced who produced A Simple Plan.
All upstanding citizens, I'm sure.
Yes, nobody down to the grips and gaffers. No one has ever committed a misstep in the making of a single.
Oh, I sure hope Russell Brand didn't produce A Simple Plan. That would be really unfortunate.
All right, we try not to timestamp these recordings too much in case we want to wait a month. But
I'm sure he's going to be in trouble for many years. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. All right.
Russell Brand, man, that's a one. I think we all just, if his life story had gone differently, would have been a contender for the Best Supporting Actor nomination, actually, and forgetting Sarah Marshall on some of the same grounds that we're nominating comedy performances. But
he's great.
Not in today's world.
I'm fine leaving him off.
You know what I did not know about his remake of Arthur? Because I just kind of looked this up today because all that news happened.
This came up recently.
I know this came up the last time that we did this. We were talking about
probably Dudley Moore getting nominated. Probably
this is some kind of weird nexus.
Do you know who one of the female leads is in that Arthur remake?
Oh, certainly, it's Greta Gerwig and Jennifer Garner. Yeah.
That's what a weird factoid that was. When I saw that, I was like, Greta Gerwig?
And Helen Mirren, of course.
Well, and Jennifer Garner, too. But, I mean, I was like, Greta Gerwig was one of the leads in the Arthur remake? That just kind of blew my mind. But no Oscar nominations for anybody in that one.
That's now probably going to top my list for theoretical sets I would like to not visit.
Well, and also featuring Nick Nolte.
Yourself.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know Nolte was in there. Yeah.
All right.
Well, now we got to watch it. Yeah.
We've been going almost an hour and a half. We can't start our Nick Nolte impressions
now.
Yeah.
Okay. That'll take us forever. Yeah. All right. June, take us home.
All right. Is this our last one?
Yep.
I think so.
All right. I'm going with more. It's like part genre, part. I think like truly a supporting actress role. She's got essentially one scene. She shows up later in the movie, but it's less acting there. It's more physical. I'm giving it to Jada Pinkett for Collateral in 2004 for just that one scene with Jamie Foxx in the cab.
I do love that scene. I think it's
That's the
easily the
scene?
best work of her career. Yeah.
That scene right there, like you fall in love with her the way he does, and you see her the connection they make, and that fuels the rest of the movie. And so much so that even the finale of I love Collateral, but I'm never that into the final chase. The foot chase stuff, it's all good. It's just not the most exciting part of the movie. It's all the dialogue interactions, and that's one of the best ones in that movie. That doesn't even involve Tom Cruise. I think Jamie Foxx and her have great chemistry there, and she paints like a very full picture of a character and her in her career and her insecurities, and so you understand totally why Jamie Foxx goes to the lengths that she does to save her.
Yeah, and that's one of those supporting roles where it does feel like it does feel a little overqualified. It's a little better than it requires, but also like it's hard to gauge exactly like how much worse the movie would be if that character was merely functional.
Right.
I think a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's a big part of that movie rests on the success of that first scene. Like whether they are believably connecting in that first cab ride. Because first off, like you have to believe that she's into him, her cab driver. And she's a high-powered lawyer. Now, it helps that he looks like Jamie Foxx, but it's not, it's a nerded up Jamie Foxx. Not quite Amazing Spider-Man levels, June, but still, they're doing what they can. And also, you have to believe that he cares enough about her to go back into the mouth of the lion in the third act to save the
Silver
day.
Fox Cruise.
Like that, these characters have to be, set the groundwork for becoming sort of movie star characters, just sort of action movie figures in this fairly grounded film.
Which is a Michael Mann movie, just working just kind of purely in genre mode, kind of a journeyman mode, but doing what he does. Right?
Yeah, and
it's not
acing it.
But in acing.
Yeah,
Totally
I love that movie, and he does. It relies on that relationship working, and the deck is stacked against it working, and it does. So that's exactly what you need a supporting actress to do, is to pull off the heavy lifting for something very difficult. And it really, really works.
And that's one of those where I guess you could debate how much of a movie star she is, but that is that's why you hire a movie star for a role like that, because there's a lot of shorthand that comes with, just the moment she steps in, right? You got a sense of her.
Yeah. You don't have a lot of time to work with. You need some star power. It's interesting thing about Michael Mann, actually, that for someone who's known for sort of naturalism and realism, I think he does have also a really good sense of how to like use movie star power.
Very much
on screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say in terms of maybe I might be like shortchanging Michael Mann's career, but in terms of his female characters, I feel like this has got to be one of the strongest ones.
No, yeah, he did not a particular strength of his.
Right. So not in that regard, she stands. I feel like pretty high. On top of that,
Penelope Cruz, Ferrari. Yeah,
I haven't seen that one yet. Ferrari.
She's great in it.
And this was the year 2005 Oscars. Kate Blanchett won for The Aviator, and the other nominees were Laura Linney for Kinsey, Virginia Madsen for Sideways, which is pretty good, Sophia Okonedo for Hotel Rwanda, and Natalie Portman for Closer. That feels like category fraud, even though I guess Julia Roberts was the lead actress in Closer. But anyway,
that's a stacked category.
Yeah. That one I know who these people are. I know these roles.
Those are all good. Yeah. There was one there. What was the second one?
Laura Linney for Kinsey.
Yeah, get that out of there.
Yeah, I saw that. Kinsey. Liam Neeson, he didn't beat up anybody in that movie. That was ridiculous. He was just talking about sex
Did he
the whole
beat
time.
off anybody?
just himself. No, that was I can't remember the actor's name. I suddenly forgot it.
Skarsgård is doing weird sex stuff in that.
He played Death in.
Yes.
Ted.
William
Sadler.
Sadler's got quite a scene there.
Rub it off really fast in that movie.
Yeah, the most deviant one they come across in that film is William Sadler.
That's almost every William Sadler movie.
Naked Tai Chi. And
that's how Die Hard 2 starts, right? All right.
So let's go quick round around here. Just some of your ones that didn't get mentioned that you wanted to, but didn't. We don't have time to go into all of them in depth. there's some obvious ones. Amy Adams in Arrival, Toni Collette in Hereditary that could easily have gotten mentioned. I almost did.
Yeah.
Thought about Charlize in Mad Max.
I thought she was.
Yeah.
Was she not nominated?
No.
She was not.
Oh.
I feel like it was a toss-up, like Furiosa and The Bride. Felt like they were almost in competition with each other a decade apart.
Yeah, I thought she was nominated. Sorry. I would.
And then, Amy Adams in Arrival. I also had Elizabeth Olsen for Martha, Marcy, May Marlene.
That's a good one.
But those both struck me as like, okay, these are oversights, but they're the type of performance that the Academy is pretty good at recognizing generally, and it's more interesting for us to focus on their blind spots than just this
and
one.
It's like one of those, like,
I mean, that one didn't make enough money, maybe.
Right. I think that's what I would say. Probably why, like, it just didn't get enough attention to really get that kind of momentum, even though it's.
But just really great straight acting lead performance. And what did you have any, Chris?
Well, yeah, my ultimate chalk one that I ultimately decided to not go with, and it kind of caused a bit of a stir at the time, was Nicole Kidman for To Die For. That was one that everybody was like, "Oh my God, how could she not have been nominated for that movie?"
I thought she was.
She was not. She won the Golden Globe, did not get nominated. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of my big chalk pick. And then my other fun one that I came close to going with, but just didn't make the cut, was Queen Latifah for Set It Off. She's outstanding in Set It Off. She really is good in it.
Karen Allen, Raiders or Starman would have been good. Both Scarlett Johansson and Under the Skin, I think, was a good one. Kristen Wiig in Bridesmaids, kind of similar to what we're talking about, Cameron Diaz, just kind of holding the center in a really effective way.
Yeah, but that movie is more specifically tailored. Like, that part is more playable, I think.
I agree. Yes.
Like,
I agree.
I would say that's not saying it's easy, but it's like a par 4. Whereas deciding about Mary like that, like, this is like a weird par 7 that doesn't exist anywhere in the world. With Bridesmaids, I wanted to pick Rose Byrne for supporting, but we've talked about that performance specifically in this context, like great. About Oscar context, multiple times before. So I feel like we just didn't need to rehash it, even though maybe a more deserving performance than what I did pick.
For supporting actress, then, let's see. I had Kirsten Dunst Interview with the Vampire, one of the great kid performances. Nice. I'm glad. I mean, once you said Furman, there was no chance of me picking her, though. It's a similar idea, I guess. Ji Zhang in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is a weird, not nominated performance. And this was one I really came close to. Julianne Moore in Magnolia, which is one of my favorite things she's ever done, and weirdly overlooked.
I had Julianne Moore for Safe. That was one that was pretty high. That's a bizarre one, but yeah, she's been good in a lot of stuff.
Was Michelle Yeoh not nominated for Crouching Tiger?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
She would have been one of the ones along with Zhang Zi. I forgot. I just didn't think about it.
Yeah, I said the name first. Okay. Rebecca Ferguson, I had on the list for a few things, for Mission Impossible, for both Dunes, for Dr. Sleep. She's great. Everybody nominated.
I've seen Dr. Sleep.
Yeah. Carrie-Anne Moss, The Matrix.
Oh yeah.
I actually had I had Carrie-Anne Moss for Memento for supporting.
I think she's better than The Matrix. I think it's a better role.
Yeah. There's in terms of, because Carrie Fisher's, she's very good. This is the physicality part, but I feel like it's a little bit one note to me. The Memento has where she gets to play someone messing around with the persona thing. So I think she has some good scenes in that one.
Yeah, a little more. I mean, like the Us or even Eternal Sunshine we're talking about. Like those are just roles that inherently allow you to showcase more range,
different types of ranges. Yeah, but yeah, you get it.
My only backup for supporting was Holly Hunter for Raising Arizona, which I backburnered because she was nominated that year for Broadcast News.
Oh,
so it would be like kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul a bit, but she's phenomenal in Raising Arizona.
Yeah.
One I had for supporting was Carrie Coon for Gone Girl. That was the first time I'd seen her in anything. I thought she was a lot of fun. Just a great, really, really rock solid support.
She's incredible.
Literally support. Yeah.
Yes, very supportive. Very supportive.
The most supportive sister.
Best supportive actress.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
It shits me that Carrie Coon has not become the new Meryl Streep. She's absolutely incredible in everything that she is in. It isn't enough stuff.
Yeah,
I
one
saw her on
more.
stage here in Chicago. Killed it in Bug.
One more that I
Okay.
had for supporting actress. We did mention Elizabeth Berkley at one point in this, but I would actually
Yeah.
include Gina Gershon for Showgirls. I think she
Nice,
Okay.
yeah.
is
That's
Okay.
solid.
she
Yeah, she's
is
good at it, but-
fantastic in Showgirls. That is one of the great
Okay.
villainous performances that you will see. Is Gina Gershon in Showgirls?
I thought about
I-
both her and Jennifer Tilly for Bound, but I'd
That also great. Also great.
That's a good one. Mm-hmm.
Gina Gershon, I put in a category with like Vera Farmiga or whoever. It's like I'm not sure what their performance is the standout that I would nominate them for, but also like you could probably any movie they ever made. There's some British lady playing a historical figure in a movie nobody watches that you could swap supporting performance in for, and I'd be like, yeah, it's probably as deserving at least.
Take that, Imelda Staunton.
Want to see a brave fucking performance? Gina Gershon in Killer Joe.
Killer Joe.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've not seen that one.
Yep.
It's a good movie. It's a rough one, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Written by or based on the play by Carrie Coon's husband.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
It all connects. Who else did I have? The one that I went with Isabel Furman in the end, but the one that I was kind of back and forthing was Naomi Watts from Mulholland Drive. That was the one that.
Oh, that's nuts. She wasn't nominated.
I know, isn't it?
Fuck. Yeah.
It's just nuts.
She was not. She wasn't.
I'm pretty certain I looked it up and
No,
she
you're
was
right,
not
she
nominated.
wasn't.
She wasn't.
Mhm.
She wasn't. Yeah,
I am stunned by that.
that one
I
is
think I
nuts,
did-
right? Yeah.
I missed out. I should have picked that. Oh well.
Yeah. So that one I figured like you guys would all agree. So I feel like that one was too easy. So I went with Furman.
It's for
And,
sure. Yeah.
Other one.
I guess I didn't even bother looking it up because I was so sure that she must have been.
Right. That's
You
what I
could
kind of
nominate her
thought
for
with
King Kong, and I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But
Yeah,
fucking
that's what I
Mulholland
thought
Drive
with,
is obvious. Jeez.
Charlize Theron for Fury Road. Like I just kind of assumed she was nominated because the movie got a lot of nominations. So I just thought, of course she was nominated.
Right, yeah, it did get. Yeah, that's the thing. Those
Right.
movies that get nominations, you assume the standout role probably didn't too. But
And the other one I had, and this one might be this very fuzzy for lead versus supporting Melanie Laurent for Inglourious Bastards.
that's really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
she should
So
have-
I
mean,
is
feel like
tough. Where do
she
you put
is
her?
essentially the lead. She's like the other than Christoph Waltz being like everything kind of ends up revolving around him. But for me, she is the one who beats the Nazis as far as I'm concerned.
yeah. I mean, and it's. I guess with these actress questions and this the general sexism brings question of what is a lead actress
Mhm.
when there is. Does it just mean the top billed woman, or does it mean that they have to actually be the lead of the film?
It
And not a
depends on the
supporting
movie
character?
and how successful it is, and I don't know.
All that.
And I think you make the case that she is the lead
Yeah.
or character of Inglourious Bastards anyway, but it's a fuzzier thing. You can
Yeah.
get away with it either way there.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's one of those probably that if she was nominated, it would probably be supporting, just to give her a better shot. Is my guess.
All right.
Yeah.
Jessica Chastain for Crimson Peak. One last supporting
Nice.
actress one there. It's a fun gothic villain, just a fun performance. Probably my favorite performance of hers. I don't know. She's been in more serious films and been great in them, but she's having a blast in that, and it's a memorable piece of a movie that could use some more juicy performances like that.
You mentioned Parker Posey earlier. I just as like a fun thing. I went Parker Posey for supporting and Josie and the Pussycats, just because she's like really, really, really funny.
Parker Posey is somebody who kind of deserves a signature role to succeed in, honestly. She's so good in everything, but, you're not going to be like, well, she's really amazing in Blade Trinity. She should have been nominated for that.
No,
or Superman Returns.
I wrestled with this. I wrestled with this and decided like she needs one more scene in Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
To reach that level of
God, she's good
supporting nomination. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And another one was Emily Blunt for Devil Wears Prada for supporting, because that essentially makes her career, right? That launches her.
Well, she was nominated, I believe.
Yeah, she. I think she
Was she?
was. Yeah, I believe so.
I thought I looked it up, but yeah, you could be right.
I had her
Jenna
for.
maybe
Hudson.
I had her for a lead in Sicario. She was in that grouping.
She did lead that.
I would have also accepted her in Live, Die, Repeat. Or
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
That one's
That's
she's
her.
awesome in
That's
that
her
movie.
icon
She's
role.
awesome in that
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All good picks for a very a
I
talented
don't
actress
think-
who needs a good
I don't-
role. Yeah.
Blunt was not nominated for supporting that year. If for supporting,
Oh,
definitely
oh,
not. It was Jennifer Hudson won.
I mean, I assume Meryl was nominated instead then, so that makes sense.
Rinka, she was nominated for a lead, I think.
Well,
yeah, Meryl Streep for Devil Wears Prada, actress in a leading role. That's why I knew. I think
Blunt was nominated. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, it made her.
Globe, then.
He put her on the map, and let's her do Live Die Repeat.
All right,
Edge of Tomorrow in my household.
That's a good one. Okay, we
don't dead name films on this podcast, sir.
We're at time. This went longer than the last one. Okay, well, this is fun, guys. I think we'll probably do this again at some point.
Virtue signaling to show how much we love women.
Yeah. How much? Look how much we love women.
We love them. They act so good in so many movies.
We love them 13 minutes more than we love the best actors.
Yes.
Best supporting actress Brodown. All right, thanks. Thank you for joining us, June and Chris. We'll probably try to do this again at some point. I don't know when, but there's a bunch of Oscar categories. So
we got to do director and picture next.
Yeah, something like that.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Screenplay and score. All right.
Well,
that's
probably.
That's fourth.
Yeah, probably.
It's coming.
Score's huge. There's so many unnominated scores.
I know.
All right.
It's crazy. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
And balcony is closed.